Hi, I'm Antonio Centeno, the founder of Real Men Real Style, and today I'm going to be talking about building an interchangeable wardrobe. The first thing you have to understand is that clothing is an investment. And this is important to understand because we live in a society in which clothing is looked at as disposable. If you go to Walmart or you go to a lot of these places, they try to sell you clothing which is poorly made, is made from cheap fabric that doesn't feel good on you, it doesn't fit you properly. And the result is, yes, we can all afford a whole lot of clothing, but we end up with closets just full of clothing, but we never have anything to wear. The whole idea of an interchangeable wardrobe is less. Less money you're going to spend, less clothing that's going to be in your closet, and less time you're going to have to spend getting dressed. So let me take a step back. And what did I mean by clothing and investment? What does it mean, for something to be quality? Well, when I talk about quality clothing, I talk about clothing that is made from a good fabric. If it's a shirt, it should be made from cotton. If it's a jacket or a suit, it should be made from wool. If it's a sweater, it should be made from cotton, preferably, although I'm a big fan of cashmere. I know it's not affordable for everyone, but wool or find a fabric. I guess what I'm getting at is whatever you buy, look to buy something that fits you well, that is a good, solid, classic style, and is something that you're going to be able to use and get a lot of miles out of. It's better to have less clothing that you wear all the time, again, than to have a closet full of clothing that isn't interchangeable, and as a result, it's just causing you a lot of headache. So I hit on a point about less. So that the three advantages of having an interchangeable wardrobe are that you're going to, in a sense, have less clothing in your closet. And this is pretty big. I mean, a lot of us have very limited room. I have friends that have these huge walk-in closets, and I guess they can, fill it up with clothing, but, amazingly, they actually do. And maybe you've got one of those closets that you walk into, and it's like, gosh, you've just got stuff everywhere, but you're holding on to shirts that you had in high school or shoes that you haven't worn for 5 years. And you probably need to, reevaluate and look to kind of purge that wardrobe. And I'll get into that in a second. So the advantage of an interchangeable wardrobe is that the clothing, you only keep the clothing in there that you're going to be wearing and works with your lifestyle. The next part is you're going to spend less money when you have an interchangeable wardrobe. And I don't mean that you're going to spend less money on each individual piece, but as a whole, you're going to spend less money because you're going to stop buying junk. You're going to stop buying clothing that doesn't fit you, is made from a poor quality fabric, or that is of a style which is going to go out of fashion, here very soon. And look, I could go on about what's in between fashion and style, but basically, as a man, you want to go with classic style. You want items which are going to look good on you 6 months from now, 6 years from now, if you live long enough, 60 years from now. Look at pictures of Cary Grant. Look at the Duke of Windsor. Go back in time, and look at some of these old books. Look at somebody like, who's a great George Clooney. If you actually look at older pictures, the guy dressed. A lot of the stuff he wore back, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, he could wear today. And that's what's so powerful about menswear is that really the changes are very small. As long as you don't try to, ride the whimsical whims of fashion. That's where you're going to get burned, and you need to be careful. And you're going to end up spending a lot of money. You'll go out and buy a designer suit, which looks great for the seasons. Got those nice thin lapels. It's the right color. It's the in color, and you think you're on top of it, and all of a sudden everything changes, and that jacket needs to go to the back, and you can't even wear it anymore. So if you're interested in learning more about that, I've got a lot of other articles on that. So let me jump to the last less, and that's spending less time getting dressed. So when you have an interchangeable wardrobe, it's kind of like Legos. It doesn't really, they're all just going to fit together. They're all going to work perfectly. And that's what you want. You don't want to spend time thinking, trying to put things together. 8% of men are colorblind, so they can't even see how the colors match anyway. If you've got an interchangeable wardrobe, you can basically walk in your closet with the lights off, grab a shirt, grab a jacket, grab a pair of trousers, grab a pair of shoes, and you know what? You should be able to walk out with pretty good feeling of confidence that when you throw that together, you're going to look good. Okay, so I've talked about the three advantages. Now let's get into how to build an interchangeable wardrobe. First, you're going to want to inventory your closet. You want to go through and break it up into three things. You're going to want to keep items that you can work with. These are core pieces that you may already own. So if you've got a pair of Oxford dress shoes, a blazer jacket that fits you well and looks good, if you've got a solid suit, those are core items. You're going to get a lot of miles out of them. In addition to undershirts or let's say some well-fitted polo shirts, you'll want to keep those things as well. Then there's questionable items. This is maybe a designer suit that it's a little bit out. I mean, don't toss it. I mean, all you're going to be paying for is storage costs. Maybe fold it nicely, put it in a box, and we'll maybe revisit that. There may be something you can do with that. Then there are going to be the items which you just need to get rid of unless you want to keep them for a Halloween outfit. This is clothing that doesn't fit you at all. If you're over the age of 21 and you're a man, you're not going to grow anymore. Well, you're going to grow maybe out, but you're not going to get any taller. Most likely your shoulders aren't going to grow out 2 more inches. So when you put that shirt on and it's an extra large and you really should be wearing a medium, get rid of that clothing that doesn't fit you. It's never going to fit you and it's just taking up space. Keep a little bit for work clothing, I guess, around the house, but no, I mean, actually that, throw away too. Your work clothing should somewhat fit you because, yeah, okay. You also want to get rid of items which are just fashion. If it looks like it belongs in the 1970s or it comes from maybe the 1920s zoot suit era, or they're shoes that, I don't know, a clown could wear, get rid of that stuff. If you've got if you have things in your wardrobe that you haven't worn for over a year to 2 years, put them away. And if you can't tell, a great way to do this is to simply put a lot of your clothing into a storage unit, and if you need it, guess what? It's there, and you can go get it and bring it out. And I'm talking a storage unit on your property or in your house, but if you put it kind of out of sight and out of mind, you'd be surprised at how you're able to manage with the clothing that you currently have. And next thing you know, you haven't opened that box for 2 years, and your wife or significant other or somebody hopefully will get rid of it. Okay, so you've inventoried your closet. Next, we're going to start buying core pieces. Core pieces, it depends on what that is. Every man is different. And this depends on your body build, this depends on your career, and this depends on your resources. So let me talk about your body build. If you're a really large man, there are certain items which are going to look better on you than if you're a short and stout man. And I talk about that in other articles, so I won't spend a lot of time here. Pay attention to your career. A lawyer is going to have very different core pieces than a carpenter. A gentleman that works, let's say he hangs light fixtures for a living, and is going to have a very different wardrobe than a gentleman that's an international business consultant who is always on an airplane and therefore is going to want a lot of dress clothing that's also very comfortable. That's not saying that someone that works with their hands is blue collar doesn't need a great suit. I think every man needs a suit, and the reason being, there are just times in your life when you need to look like $1 million. And there's nothing wrong with going out there, and whether it be a Target suit or whether it be an Italian suit that costs $4,000, whatever, and this probably gets to the last point about resources, whatever it is, you want to look good in what you wear. And so getting back to that point, I think every carpenter should have at least one suit, because if he's got a daughter, he's going to someday walk her down the aisle, and you want to look great when you're next to your little girl and you're bawling your head off and all that stuff. So buy core pieces. I talk about this in other articles, so I won't spend a whole lot of time here. After you start buying your core pieces, then you can expand out of the core. And when you expand out of the core, this is when you're paying attention to your personal style. This is when you start going for pieces that they're a little bit risky. So this is going to be pocket squares. This is going to be hats. This is going to be shirts that maybe are a little bit louder and don't go with every jacket or piece of clothing in your wardrobe. Or you're going to go with those white jeans that you've been wanting to try out. You can understand these are items which are not classic, or they may be classic, but they're just not your cup of tea, but you still want to try. And that's where you expand out and you maybe go out and try things. And I highly advise, I mean, I guess unless you're, well, a man's style it's a moving target. It evolves, and don't be afraid to go out there and try new things. Okay, so I've talked quite a bit about building an interchangeable wardrobe. Again, the big thing is anytime you buy something for an interchangeable wardrobe, you want it to be able to work with all the other pieces in your wardrobe. Because as I talk about in the article, if you own 2 pairs of shoes, 2 pairs of trousers, 2 jackets, 2 shirts, you don't have 2 separate outfits. Actually, you've got 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. You've got 16 different outfits that you can mix and match. And they're all going to be slightly different. If they're interchangeable, by having 8 pieces of clothing, I've given myself a wide range of options. So just imagine if you expand that up to 10 shirts, 4 jackets, 4 pairs of odd trousers, and 3 pairs of dress shoes, or 4 pairs of dress shoes. All of a sudden, you've got a much larger, just a wider option. And it's going to be very easy for you to put this all together. Okay, Antonio Centeno, I will let you get started building your interchangeable wardrobe, and I wish you the best of luck. If you need help with more information, like I've mentioned, here at Real Men, Real Style, I've got articles that go into much greater detail on what's a core wardrobe, on understanding what's quality in clothing, in addition, tips to dressing different body types. Until next time, move forward with style. Take care. Bye-bye.